Something that happens to everybody on their guitar journey is the dreaded guitar rut. It feels unavoidable, and I'm actually going to say that I think it is. Well, it seems unavoidable. It seems like one of those things that just happens. No matter what you try and do, you fall into this guitar rut. Let me explain. The guitar rut is that feeling where you've been picking up the guitar for the last 2 weeks, month, and you feel like you just play the same thing over and over and over again. You feel like you're learning and your progress is kind of stagnated. You're kind of just flatlining. And it's a feeling that I think it happens to all of us. So I'm going to share with you some tips to help you break out of that guitar rut, because we don't want to be in a guitar rut. We want to experience daily progress. We want to experience fun with the guitar. We don't want it to be this thing where we're like, oh man, I'm not getting any better. I'm not going to play today. And then pretty soon that turns into a week and then a month, and then pretty soon the guitar case goes under the bed and you don't open it for another however long, months in some cases. So I want to share these tips because I really think that together as guitar geeks, we can help one another bust out of those guitar ruts that happen. So here's 5 things you can do to bust your guitar rut. The first thing to do, and the most necessary, is to recognize that, hey, I'm in a guitar rut. And hey, it's totally okay. It happens, right? So if you feel like, man, I have been playing the same thing and I haven't really tried learning anything new, because quite frankly, we don't want to sound bad. We want to sound good, and we sound good by playing things we know, but we get better by playing the things we don't know. So recognizing the fact that you're in a guitar rut is really my first tip for you, and knowing that it's okay and that you're going to get out of it. You just got to keep chugging away and playing the guitar and just trying to find different things to pull you out of it. And my next tips will help pull you out of that guitar rut. My second tip is to turn 180 degrees. Tony, what the hell are you talking about? Well, we all have kind of a path that we're on, our guitar journey. And usually it directs us in a certain, we'll call it a path of study. Let's say I'm really into bluegrass flat picking, and I'm on that route, right? I'm trying to learn as much as I can with flat picking, but I've hit this rut to where I feel like even though I want to learn new stuff, I'm not. I feel like I just revert to the same things because I want to sound good, because, well, as a guitar geek, we want to sound good. The tip of turning 180 degrees is to literally just, if you're going down that flat picking route, turn 180 degrees and try and learn something finger picking. Okay, it seems weird. Even if you don't want to learn something finger picking, even if finger picking is not even on your radar, even if you don't know anything about finger picking, try it anyway. Because this new perspective on the guitar is going to allow you to, number one, learn a brand new technique that you can add to your skill set. And number two, it might give you more perspective on your current guitar study, right? Just because you're finger picking doesn't mean you abandon flat picking. It just means when you come back to flat picking, you might have a whole new perspective. So turning 180 degrees and trying something totally new, totally out of your comfort zone is great to really kind of recharge you and give you new perspective on the guitar. Tip number 3 is commit to 10 minutes of practice a day. Why? Right? Why aren't you saying, Tony, you got to sit down and practice an hour to really pull yourself out of guitar? Yeah, that'd be nice, but that's not entirely realistic. I mean, if we try and practice an hour a day, yeah, that's awesome. I'm not saying, if you are practicing an hour a day, that's great. I'm just saying that rather than set this unrealistic maximum time commitment, set a minimum time commitment that feels good when you complete it and that you can actually fit into your day-to-day life, right? Because let's just face it, life happens, right? Things get in the way. Johnny barfs on the desk at school and you got to go pick him up. Things happen. You got to call the lawn guy because he dug a big hole in your yard and you got to have him come fill it and put sod over it. Whatever the case may be, life happens. So setting a realistic minimum time commitment allows you to play the guitar every day, experience daily progress, and have fun, and not feel guilty because you didn't practice an hour a day. You can say, man, I got my 10 minutes in. Or you can say, man, I sat down for 10 minutes and all of a sudden it was an hour. So either way, it's a win-win scenario. We definitely want to set yourself up for success here, right? That really helps you actually stay out of the guitar rut. It helps you pull out of the guitar rut, but also stay out of it because you want to experience that daily progress. And that minimum time commitment of 10 minutes of practice a day will do that very thing. Tip number 4 is to listen to new music. And I'm going to give you an example. This seems like a very simple tip, but it's really, truly effective. I'm going to use the flat picking example because I went through this exact scenario. Very much into flat picking, very much into bluegrass when I was first getting into it. I learned about 5 songs, and I would just play those one after another, one after another, one after another. I got really good at those 5 songs, but I didn't feel like I was getting any better or expanding my horizons, and I felt like I just couldn't get out of it. So what did I do? Well, at the time, I was just listening to a bunch of bluegrass music. I'm talking Brian Sutton, Tony Rice, Dan Crary, Norman Blake, you name the flat picker, David Greer, Kenny Smith, you name it. I was listening to it all the time. I was surrounding myself with bluegrass because, well, it helps you learn a style, but it also places you in kind of a little bit of a vortex or a vacuum. Maybe vacuum is the word I'm looking for. So what I did was I thought, okay, well, I clearly like flat picking. I clearly want to get better at flat picking, but I need kind of a palate cleanser. So I actually started listening to gypsy jazz, which wasn't on my radar, and I knew nothing about it, which is why I chose this particular branch of music. And I learned a ton. I learned about Django. That's when I got exposed to Django Reinhardt, and I saw this whole other catalog of songs. But more importantly, I was exposed to a whole different approach to the guitar and a whole different tone out of the guitar. And that alone kind of gets the wheels turning. And again, when you come back to flat picking or whatever your course of study is, it gives you brand new perspective. And that's what we're trying to do to get out of this guitar rut. So listen to new music. Listen to something that you never even would think of. If you're into finger picking and you're just hitting a wall, try and listen to some classical Indian music. Grab a Ravi Shankar record and throw that on, and see what kind of loops that throws your way. I mean, it really will give you a fresh perspective on your course of study and kind of broaden your horizons of what's possible with any stringed instrument, really. And then my last tip, and this is a really fun one for us guitar geeks, is to try out new gear. Really, that can help bust you out of a guitar rut. Now, and I say this because just recently I got a new guitar. In fact, an episode, was it 49, Noah, that I showed off that Preston Thompson, or was it 48? I can't remember.
Me neither, Tony.
Okay, well, it's one of those episodes. I got a new Thompson Dreadnought, and that alone gave a huge boost. It lit a fire. I got the spark. I was playing new stuff because the guitar kind of felt like it was pulling it out of me. Now, I'm not saying, everybody go get a new guitar. I know that that's not realistic, although it's a great excuse if you're trying to convince your significant other. But any new piece of gear can give you just a little spark, just a little bit of a fire lit under your bottom so that you start trying new things. Maybe it's a new capo. Maybe it's an alternate tuning capo. Maybe it's a new pick. Maybe you're going to try finger picks. Any new piece of gear can give you new perspective on the guitar. And that alone, gaining new perspective on the guitar, is going to help you bust out of your guitar rut because it's going to open up a whole new world of possibilities. So just in short review here are my 5 tips for busting your guitar rut. Number 1, recognize the rut. Number 2, turn 180 degrees and try something brand spanking new. Number 3, commit to a minimum time commitment of 10 minutes a day and create a playing habit, right? Just like brushing your teeth, tying your shoes, or pouring your morning cup of coffee. Number 4, listen to brand new music, stuff that you never even thought you'd listen to. And number 5, try out a new piece of gear. It can really light a fire and make guitar playing fun again. We want this to be fun, we want this to be fulfilling, and we want it to enrich your life. Right? That's the whole point. We got it. That's why we're guitar geeks, right? We want to have fun. And these tips will help you do that. And of course, pull out of your guitar rut.